Having a consistent brand is something that a lot of people aspire to have, and it is really important. And the reason for that is, and I'm sure you know this, that if you say the same things over and over again, then ultimately those things are going to stick in your mind, and you're going to remember what they were, you're going to remember which business it was, you're going to relate different things like the Cadbury's colour purple to Cadbury's, you're going to relate things like the Virgin colour red to Virgin, and you'll see things in terms of brand colours, even though it's just a colour. So you might see a top in a shop and say, this is a Cadbury's purple t-shirt. And that's the power of brand consistency. It creates recognition, which is what we're all aspiring to achieve, because if you create recognition, then that's the next level, where people have realized who you are and they know who you are, and then you're at the point where you can help them to understand even more about who you are and connect with them even more. So I have a 5-step process for this, which I call the 5 R's, very original, and it's about being consistent so that ultimately you can achieve the results that you are aiming to achieve with your brand. So the first step is repetition, which is what consistency is. It's about repeating the same things over and over again. You might have heard me say these things before in different ways, because this is a message that I have spoken about multiple times, because it's really important. And I know how important it is. I know that if you can get into people's minds and help them to know who you are and remember you, then when they need the thing that you do, you'll be the person that they go to, or one of the people that they look at when they're making that decision. So being consistent helps you to get to that place. It helps people to be able to start seeing your brand and recognizing that it's you. So if you say they're on Instagram and they see your post and it's got your colors in, they'll go, oh, that's such and such, and they're going to stop and they're going to have a look and see what it is that you've got to say. So it's about achieving that level. You can even have, phrases that people say that are recognized, that might start to stick in people's minds, like just do it. There's so many different things that you can create with intention and repeat on purpose that are going to help people to then move on to the next star, which is recognize, which is where they're going to know who you are. And that's the reason why we do it. And when I'm talking about repeating things over and over again and being consistent with those things, I don't just mean always put the same colors out or always do the same thing every Tuesday. What I'm talking about is being really consistent, really repetitive with your message, with who you are speaking to, with what it is that you're telling them, with those visuals and with your message, with your brand purpose, with being really focused on what your mission and your vision are. It's about being really clear on your brand strategy so that you can get to where you want to go, and so that you know what it is that you're trying to say on the way there, and so that those things, all that the stuff that makes your brand strategy up, your values, your positioning, everything that matters, that helps you to get to the next step, you are being consistent with that, so that people know that it's you, and so that you are putting out the right content, you're putting out the right words, you're putting out the right imagery, and you're really helping to craft your brand intentionally, rather than just slapdash throw anything out and see what happens. Because the more intentional you are, then the stronger your brand is going to be. So if you can be intentional on repeat, then that's going to help people to recognize you and to know who you are. And then they're going to start to resonate with you and with your brand. They're going to say, oh, I feel like this, and oh, I recognize that idea, and oh, yes, I really like this. And that's the point where you are really speaking directly to your ideal customer, and they know who you are, and they feel like you know who they are, which is even more important. So it's about them understanding that you are the person that can help them, you are the business that can help them. And if you are being intentional on repeat and they are starting to recognize you, then they're going to start to realize that that is the case. So that resonating step is really important, because that's all about connection. That's all about them thinking, yeah, this person really gets me. They really understand where I am. They may have been there before, or maybe they haven't been there, but they know what it's like, because I've had so many conversations with other people who are in that same position. And then once you've reached those 3 levels, so you've been repetitive, people recognize you and they resonate with you, then they're going to start to remember you, because there's that really famous quote, isn't there, by Maya Angelou, about people will forget what you said, and they forget what you did, but they will not forget how you made them feel. And that's what comes through with the resonating part. And that's going to help people then to remember you and know who you are, and feel good things about your brand, which is the entire point, because emotions are so important. So if you've got them through that step-by-step process up to them really resonating with you and then remembering you, then that's going to help you move on to the final section of the 5 R's, which is results. And results are not always about money. And I think when we're thinking about business, we're always thinking money, 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 money. But often results can be things like commenting on your posts. Like you've reached that point. By the time they're commenting, they're really feeling like they relate to you and you relate to them. So commenting on your posts, sending you messages, having conversations, and you might do some of these things, alongside some of the other parts of the 5 R's, but these are results, so we need to celebrate them all. And they might start to like your posts and share your posts and read every single blog post and listen to every single podcast you put out, all of that kind of thing. They might start to refer you to other people that they know who are going to be able to benefit from what you do. They're going to maybe buy from you, which of course would be brilliant. So there's a lot of different things that can be results. You might end up with some new friends. That's quite a nice result that you can get as well. There are so many different results. So they might sign up to your email list. They might buy something. They might come along to an event that they know you're going to be at. They might buy a ticket to come and hear you speak somewhere. They might decide that they want to explore working with you at your entry point level, like whatever the smallest way they can work with you is, and then start to step that up. They might join your free group. There are so many different things that can be results. So just look at all of those things. They're all really good results, and a lot of those things, they do go, like I said, along the process. So they might join your free group because they realize they need what you have to offer and they just see a post, but through being in there, they might start to recognize you more and resonate with you more and feel like they are prepared to move further along in their buyer journey, or just a journey that doesn't relate to make them a buyer at all, but it might mean that they are one of your best referrers, or they are one of the people who shouts about you the loudest, even if they don't buy. So those things can be really excellent results as well. So brand consistency is about being repetitive so that you will be recognized, so people will resonate with you, so they'll remember you, and so that you will get results in your business. It's about popping you into other people's minds so that they don't forget who you are. It's about other people knowing that you're the right person for them, or knowing that you're the right person for somebody else that they know, and feeling that connection with you and your business and how that's going to help them. So being consistent is really important if you want those things to happen, because it's going to allow people to be able to recognize you and to be able to resonate with you and to see your stuff as well. And I think if we think about it from a visual perspective, a lot of this is messaging. A lot of this is thinking about the kind of things that you're going to say, the kind of things that are going to be useful to the people you're speaking to. But there is, of course, an element of using your visuals to help you to stand out and be consistent. So it's really important to use the right colours, and the same colours even over and over again. It's really important to use the same fonts over and over again. It's really important to use the same style of photography over and over again. So just that people get that feel for what your brand looks like, and then when they see something you've put out there, which could be on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on a banner, in an advert, in a magazine, in a brochure, on a poster, on the back of a bus, there are so many different places that your brand can be visible. When you're thinking about all of those places, they need to have that constant that runs through them. So thinking about that and getting your visuals sorted out as well is going to really help you. In fact, it helps shortcut that whole process, because people aren't coming across you over here being one thing and over here being another and over here looking like something else. They're going to start to relate all those different colours and all those different fonts to you. And then they'll say, oh, I've noticed that person. Oh, I've noticed that person. Oh, I've noticed that person. And they'll start to notice you quicker because of that consistent visual image that you have. So that is why it's a really good idea to be consistent with your brand. And it's quite a complicated conversation, really, because it sounds really simple, and in many ways it is. And I always say it's about making decisions and sticking to those decisions. but I know that that is also quite hard to do. So if you do find that hard, then it's about writing it down. It's about having it somewhere where you can get a hold of it and you can know that you've got all of that in a place where you can refresh your memory really regularly so you don't forget. And it's about not including new things just because, and then keeping them just because, but about being really intentional with those new elements that you might add into your visuals and into your message, really thinking clearly, is this a good idea? Is this going to help my ideal client? Is this something that they're going to really benefit from? Because once you start introducing something new in, that's going to take a little while of building up consistently for people to start to recognize that as well. But it's also going to sort of dilute what you already have. So you could be adding to what you already have. And that's brilliant. And I hope that whatever you add in would be adding to it. But at the very beginning, it's going to, it's going to dilute it because you're adding more of something else. And until people get used to that, it won't be quite so strong. I hope that that makes some kind of sense. But if you feel that you need extra support with having a consistent brand, there's a few different ways that I'd love to be able to help you with that. So you can either join my free Facebook group, which is called Brand Bravery for Adventurous Business Owners. You can go find that on Facebook, or you can join me in the Brand Success Club, or I can be a brand explorer in your pocket and help you one-to-one, just whenever you need, grab your phone, send me a message, and we can have a chat about whatever it is that your issue is 5 days a week. So those are 3 different ways that I would love to support you with being consistent with your brand. And next week's video is going to be about how your brand impacts your whole business. So don't miss that one.